Hello my beautiful community and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 popular ways for cleansing crystals. Personally, I only use 2 of these methods, but it's good to have a variety and it's good to learn about all of the different ways. So I'll be showing you the top 5 ways that people use to cleanse crystals. Hey beautiful soul, I'm Kate Mantello, the author of Rock On and the founder and CEO of Evolve Healing Institute, a global world-class training institute for crystal and energy healing practitioners. On my channel, you'll learn powerful and proven crystal and energy healing techniques that will take you far beyond any of the usual and generic information you'll find on Google or from a book. That's because I practice what I preach, and everything here comes from decades of personal and professional experience in my own healing room. If you like what you see here, then please subscribe to my channel and check out my website, evolvehealing.net, so you can find out how you can become an elite, world-class crystal or energy healing practitioner too. Enjoy the video. The first method that you can use to cleanse your crystals is using clear water. Definitely do not use tap water. Tap water is full of chemicals, and not only should you be drinking unfiltered tap water, but for cleansing your crystals, this is a big no-no because the chemicals in the water can actually erode and damage the surface of your stones. Cleansing your crystals with water does come with a warning though, because not all crystals can be immersed in water. Some crystals, like selenite, they are actually water soluble, and that means that they'll dissolve if they're immersed in water. Other raw stones, like this piece of tourmaline here, is very porous, so that means that the surface isn't sealed. It's got lots of holes and cracks in it. So if you immerse this in water or hold it under running water, once again, it can damage the stone. So if you're cleansing your crystals with water, make sure that you're only using crystals that are polished, shaped and sealed, which means that they're not porous, there's no visible holes or cracks, and they're much less likely to be damaged if they come into contact with water. If you do decide to cleanse your crystals with water, it's best to take them out into nature, like a beautiful river or creek, or even the ocean water. This is my backyard, and you can't see it at the moment, but there's a beautiful little creek that winds through that valley there that I'm going to take you to and show you how I cleanse my crystals. So I'm at the creek. It's normally flowing a little bit better than this, but we haven't had a whole lot of rain. But it is still beautiful and clear, and I've got my crystal here, and I'm just going to hold it in the water there, immersed, letting it connect with the beautiful freshness of that water. Look at the ripples. The crystal feels pretty happy in my hand there. It's enjoying that. And you can hold your crystals in the water for a short amount of time, giving them that beautiful hit of cleansing energy, or you can tie them up in a little bag, like a cotton bag, and then tie them to a root on the riverbank, or just put them in a place nestled between some rocks where they won't float away, and let them sit there overnight if you'd like to give them a really long bath. Another way that you can cleanse your crystals is by burial. So this means that you can bury them in soil or sand in your backyard or in a pot. If you do choose burial as a method for cleansing your crystals, I really recommend using a little pot, filling it with earth from your backyard, making sure that the earth is clean and it's not full of any potentially harmful chemicals like fertilizers, and it doesn't have any rough, scratchy rocks or anything in it that can damage the surface of your stone. And then keep your stone inside under a windowsill where it's going to get some sun and moonlight too. You could bury your crystals outside in the garden, but keep in mind that if it rains, then this might be damaging to your stone, especially if it's one of the crystals that I mentioned earlier. If it's raw, if it's porous, or if it's one of those stones that can easily be damaged by water. The reason why crystals love to be buried in the earth is when we're talking in terms of energetics and energetic attraction, like attracts like. This means that crystals are most happy and their vibration is highest when they are in an environment that feels like home. So considering that crystals were really born in the deep earth and in caves and buried underground, and this is where they were formed. This is the energy and the place where they feel really comfortable and where their true energy can shine. I think of it a bit like if you were living overseas for a period of time and then you go home and connect with your family and your roots, how good you feel afterwards. That's kind of like crystals going back to the earth. It's kind of like a reunion holiday. A third popular way to cleanse your stones is to place them on top of a clear quartz cluster, that's a mouthful, or a natural citrine or smoky quartz cluster. These crystals are so high vibrational and they're full of healing and cleansing energy. So what you can do is take your crystal that you want to be cleansed. I have to find a nice little spot to nestle it in here where it won't fall. There we go. Place it on top of the cluster, and then you can just put this in a quiet, safe place, or if you would like to charge your crystals at the same time as they're cleansing, place them on a windowsill where they're going to be exposed to sun and moonlight. This is a great way of really drawing out any of that negative energy from the stone, and the clear quartz releases that back out into the atmosphere, into the universe, because quartz is an amazing transmutation crystal that can transform energy from one form to another. Specifically, it can take low vibrational energy and convert it to high vibrational energy. So this is a really easy way of charging your crystals. Something to keep in mind if you're choosing that method though is it's not the fastest method. So if you're doing it that way, you need to leave your stones on the crystal at least for a couple of hours, or preferably overnight. Another method of cleansing your crystals, which does take a little bit of time but is super powerful, is placing them out under a full moon or a beautiful sun. A lot of people don't talk about placing their crystals out under the sun. It doesn't seem to be as popular as placing it out under a full moon, but I actually think it's possibly even more powerful because the sun is the life bringer and the light bringer. So what a better way to cast out those dark shadows or any negative energy that your crystal is holding than to let them soak up those beautiful, juicy rays of the sun. After all, who doesn't like basking in a beautiful sun bath? If you're choosing to place your crystals out under a full moon or under the sun, make sure that they are protected from rain. So you might like to place a clear glass bowl over the top of them, like just a mixing bowl from the kitchen, or you may like to place them in a windowsill where they're not actually outside, and then there's no risk of damage to the stone. Leave the stone there for 24 hours or overnight if you're placing it under a full moon, and enjoy the beautiful high vibe and cleansing energy it has afterwards. Finally, and probably the most popular way of cleansing stones, and definitely the most practical if you're using your stones regularly, like in a professional healing practice, is smudging. So smudging involves moving the stone through the smoke of sacred herbs. You can use white sage, you can use frankincense, lavender, dried lavender. You can choose to use mugwort or palo santo. So there's lots of different herb options that you can use for this. So I'm going to show you a couple of little tips for smudging your crystals, which you might not have seen before, because I do actually work professionally with crystals and I haven't got this information out of a book. So I know some things that some other people don't know. Let's give it a go. So my first tip is when you're burning any sacred herbs, I'll just light it here. This is some white sage. Just break off a little piece at a time, because if you light a whole smudge stick, look how much smoke's coming off that little piece. If you light a whole smudge stick, it's like a bushfire in your house. And if you've got smoke alarms, it'll set the smoke alarms off. So just light a very small amount and then put it in a little ceramic dish like this. This way you can walk around the house and it can drop ash and it's not going to go on the carpet, and the smoke is small enough that it's not going to trigger the smoke alarms, which we wouldn't want to happen midway through a healing session. So once you've got your herbs lit, you can choose to cleanse your crystals one by one like this. which is great if you buy a new crystal and you want to cleanse it. Make sure you're visualizing any negative or dark energy that the stone may be holding, being released with that smoke, being carried away. Or if you're like me and you work with crystals and you need to cleanse a large amount of crystals in a small amount of time, watch this tip. Get a basket. I got a heap of these from the thrift store or the secondhand shop. They were 20 cents each, so it's just a cane basket. Secondhand stores are amazing for ceramic dishes and little cane baskets and things that you can use in your healing practice. So get a basket like this, pop all your crystals on it. So I've got 3 crystals on here, but you can fill it up if you want to. And then take your herbs and hold the smoke under the basket like this, and it goes up through all of those little holes and cleanses all the crystals in one go. How cool is that? You don't even have to spend 20 cents at the thrift store if you don't want to. You can repurpose items that you've got in your kitchen, like this colander, so you could pop crystals in that, something like that. A spaghetti strainer, anything that's got holes, or if you've got really large crystals, you could even place them on your oven rack like this, over the top of the smudge herbs, like so, and give them a beautiful steam. Don't forget that whenever you're cleansing crystals, to really send the intention into the stone, no matter what method that you're using, inviting the stone to release any negative energy that it may be holding on to, and asking it to prepare itself and invite in that universal light, healing energy so that it's ready for light work and healing. I hope you enjoyed the video today and perhaps even picked up a tip or two that you can take into your healing room or into your home next time that you're working with your crystals. Thanks for watching.